Welcome to Daily Book Insight. Have you ever felt like your body was still reacting to something long after your mind thought it was over? Well, that's the powerful and frankly life-changing idea we're diving into today with Dr. Bessel van der Kolk's landmark book, The Body Keeps the Score. This is a work that has absolutely reshaped how we think about trauma, not just as a memory, but as a physical, lived reality.
And this right here, this quote, is the heart of the entire book. What van der Kolk is saying is that trauma isn't just a story we tell ourselves about something bad that happened. No, it's a physical imprint. It literally gets into our wiring, rewiring our brain, and hijacking our body's alarm system, making us feel like we're in danger even when we're perfectly safe.
And it's clear this message has really hit home for millions of people. The incredible success of this book, it comes from its power to finally give a name, an explanation, to this silent suffering that so many experience. It offers a whole new language and, more importantly, a new roadmap for healing. Okay, so here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to dig into how the body remembers what the mind is trying so hard to forget. Then we'll look at the specific imprint trauma leaves on us. After we get the problem, we'll switch gears to the solutions, exploring how to reconnect and the incredible power of relationships. We'll also touch on the ongoing science behind all this before we wrap up with how you can integrate these ideas into your own life. So let's jump right into the book's core idea, which is a real game changer. Even when your conscious mind pushes a memory away, or maybe can't even access it, your body is holding on to the raw, physical data of that experience. So how does this actually work? Well, it all starts with some kind of overwhelming, threatening event. Now, to protect you, your thinking brain might just try to shove that memory down, minimize it, pretend it didn't happen. But the body doesn't work that way. It doesn't forget. The fear, the helplessness, all those physical sensations get burned into your nervous system. That's what we mean when we say the body keeps the score. And the result? You can get trapped in this cycle of reactivity, where your body is responding to today as if that danger from the past is happening right now. And this memory, the one held in the body, it creates a much deeper problem. We're talking about more than just bad memories here. We're talking about a fundamental disconnect between your mind and your body. It's like it changes your whole operating system. Now, it's really important to clarify that a lot of what van der Kolk talks about is something called complex trauma. This isn't usually about a single one-off event like a car crash. It's about ongoing, repeated experiences, often starting in childhood, things like abuse or neglect. And this kind of trauma, as you can imagine, has really profound effects on a person's development. These images on the screen are such a perfect way to picture this. Traumatic memories aren't stored like a neat little movie with a beginning, middle, and end. Nope. They're stored as these chaotic, sensory fragments, kind of like the abstract art you see on the right. It's a flash of an image, a sound, a gut-wrenching feeling, a physical sensation. It's completely visceral, and it lives outside of our normal storytelling memory. The way van der Kolk explains this is as a disconnect between two parts of our brain. You've got your thinking brain, the logical part that uses words and understands time. And then you have your feeling brain, the survival part that's all about raw sensation. And for this part, time doesn't exist. Trauma is like a massive system glitch that knocks the thinking brain offline and leaves the feeling brain's alarm system stuck on full blast. And the result of this glitch is, well, it's profound. It's this feeling of being detached from your own body. The clinical term is dissociation, but what it feels like is numbness. Like you're a ghost in your own life, not really inhabiting your own skin. The very part of your brain that tells you, hey, I'm here, I'm alive, gets compromised. Okay, so we've laid out the problem, which can feel pretty heavy. But here's the really hopeful and honestly the most exciting part of the book, the pathways to healing. Because if the problem is lodged in the body, then the solution has to involve the body too. This is where van der Kolk introduces what he calls bottom-up approaches. This question is at the heart of the whole book. Look, talk therapy is important. Understanding our story matters. But it often isn't enough because it mainly uses the top part of our brain, the thinking part. To heal the score that the body is keeping, we need to go to the bottom of the brain, the feeling, sensing part, to directly soothe that overactive nervous system. And yoga is a fantastic example of a bottom-up approach. It's really not about twisting yourself into a pretzel. It's about learning to pay attention to your breath and learning to just be with the physical sensations in your body, right here, right now, without judging them. For someone who feels like their body is the enemy, this is a revolutionary act. It's about safely coming home to yourself.
And what's so powerful about these body-based practices is how they directly counteract the effects of trauma. Mindfulness helps you notice what's going on inside with curiosity instead of fear. That simple shift from judgment to acceptance is huge. And by just focusing on the rhythm of your breathing, you can actually take the controls and start to calm that blaring alarm system down. Another really powerful therapy that Kolk talks about is EMDR. It uses things like guided eye movements, bilateral stimulation, to help the brain file away traumatic memories properly. See, the goal isn't to forget what happened, it's to change how it's stored. EMDR can help shift a memory from that feeling of reliving, where it feels like it's happening all over again, to just remembering, where you know it happened in the past and it's over. Now, beyond these specific therapies, Kolk puts a massive emphasis on this next point. Healing doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens in the context of safe, supportive connection, both with other people and with ourselves. Since trauma so often makes you feel intensely alone and ashamed, the antidote is safe connection. Just feeling seen and heard by someone starts to dismantle that isolation. It allows for something called co-regulation. Think about how a calm parent can soothe a crying baby just by holding them. It's the same idea. One person's calm nervous system can literally help another person's regulate. It's a basic human need. And just as important as that connection with others is the connection you have with yourself. Trauma can wire our brains for some serious self-criticism and self-blame. Self-compassion is the active practice of turning that around, of treating yourself with the same kindness you'd give to a friend who was suffering. It directly fights the shame that keeps trauma locked in place. Now, to give you the full picture, it's important to know that this book is part of a bigger, ongoing scientific conversation. Science is always evolving, and the ideas in The Body Keeps the Score are a huge part of that discussion about trauma. So, one of the main debates is about what causes what. The book helped popularize the idea that trauma directly causes lasting damage to the brain. But other research, including a big review of studies from Cambridge University Press, suggests a slightly different take. This view suggests that some people might have pre-existing neurobiological differences that make them more vulnerable to developing PTSD after a traumatic event. It's a subtle but important difference. It's less about guaranteed damage and more about understanding risk and resilience. And there's a similar conversation happening about the treatments themselves. So while we know things like yoga and EMDR can be super effective for a lot of people, the science is still figuring out if they are uniquely better than other proven trauma treatments, like certain types of cognitive behavioral therapy. The big takeaway here is that lots of different tools can work, and the field is still learning what's best for who. So, after all of that, let's bring it all home. What should you really take away from this complex and powerful book? How can we start to integrate these insights into our own lives? Here are the essentials. Number 1, trauma isn't just in your head. It's a physical experience. It lives in your body. Number 2, because of that, real healing has to involve reconnecting the mind and body. 3, there's no magic bullet here. There are so many paths to healing: yoga, EMDR, art, you name it. The goal is to find what works for you. 4, never ever underestimate the power of safe relationships. They are a biological necessity. And finally, number 5, be patient with yourself. Healing is not a straight line. It's a journey with ups and downs. So we'll leave you with this question to think about. Maybe the greatest gift this book gives us is an invitation to listen to the wisdom of our own bodies. So knowing that your body keeps the score, what's one small way you can start to listen to its story today? Not with judgment, but just with a little bit of curiosity and compassion. If you found this insight valuable, please like, subscribe, and share it with your family and friends who want to upgrade their life.